Today we are going to explore a period often called the Age of Faith. During the Middle Ages, religion shaped nearly every aspect of life, including art and architecture. Three major world religions strongly influenced artistic production. First one was Christianity, second Islam, third Hinduism. Artists created works meant to inspire spiritual reflection and communicate religious ideas. Why do you think religion played such a large role in artistic production during the medieval period? Some possible answers may include religion structured daily life, religious institutions had wealth and power, and art helped communicate beliefs to largely illiterate populations. When Constantine the Great legalized Christianity in 313 CE through the Edict of Milan, Christians could finally build public places of worship. Many early churches were constructed over catacombs where early martyrs had been buried. Christian architects adapted the Roman basilica, a public gathering hall, as the basic church design. Let's look at figure 16.1. Old St. Peter's Basilica was one of the most important early Christian churches. It was built over what believers considered the tomb of St. Peter, one of Christ's apostles. The basilica plan includes a nave, which is a central hall, side aisles, and an apse at the end of the church. Why might early Christians adopt a Roman civic building instead of a temple design? A possible idea is Roman temples were designed for rituals outside the building, but Christian worship required large interior gathering spaces. After the fall of Rome, the Eastern Empire, known as the Byzantine Empire, became the center of Christian culture. Byzantine art emphasized spirituality, symbolism, and elaborate decoration. Figures appear weightless and stylized rather than realistically grounded in space. Let's look at figure 16.2. This church in Ravenna reflects Byzantine architectural influence. The building has a central plan design rather than the long basilica shape. This design emphasizes sacred space surrounding the altar. Now let's look at figure 16.3. This mosaic shows the Byzantine Emperor Justinian I with religious leaders. The emperor appears larger and centrally positioned. This composition communicates both political authority and divine legitimacy. Why might rulers place themselves inside religious imagery? Okay, so let's look at figure 16.4. The Hagia Sophia in Constantinople is one of the greatest achievements of Byzantine architecture. It was designed by Anthemius of Tralles and Isidorus of Miletus. The massive dome appears to float above the building due to hidden structural supports. As the Roman Empire declined, Europe became politically fragmented. Various groups, including the Goths and Franks, developed hybrid artistic traditions combining Christian symbolism and tribal decorative patterns. Let's look at figure 16.5. This elaborate object was discovered in a ship burial in England. It combines materials such as gold, garnets, and enamel. The intricate patterns reflect the decorative traditions of early Germanic cultures. Now let's look at figure 16.6. This illuminated manuscript was created by monks. Manuscripts were copied by hand and decorated with elaborate patterns. These decorative pages were called carpet pages because their designs resembled woven textiles. Why might monasteries become centers of artistic productions during the Middle Ages? During the reign of Charlemagne, there was an effort to revive the cultural achievements of ancient Rome. This revival is called the Carolingian Renaissance. Let's look at figure 16.7. Charlemagne's palace chapel in Aachen was inspired by Byzantine architecture. It reflects Charlemagne's desire to connect his empire to the glory of Rome. Now let's look at figure 16.8. This manuscript shows renewed interest in classical naturalism. Artists studied earlier Roman models to create more realistic figures. The Romanesque period developed around the 11th century. Churches were designed to accommodate large numbers of pilgrims traveling to religious sites. Romanesque architecture features thick walls, rounded arches, barrel vaults, and small windows. Look at figures 16.9a, 16.9b, and 16.9c. St. Sernin in Toulouse is one of the largest Romanesque churches. Its design includes radiating chapels where relics could be displayed. Now let's look at figure 16.11. Romanesque sculptures often depicted dramatic religious scenes. This carving shows the Last Judgment where souls were weighed. The imagery reminded viewers of the consequences of moral choices. Why might medieval churches place these dramatic images above entrances? Let's look at figure 16.12. The Bayeux Tapestry tells the story of the Norman conquest of England in 1066. It stretches more than 200 feet long. This tapestry functions almost like an early form of visual storytelling. The Gothic period introduced dramatic architectural innovations. Key features include pointed arches, ribbed vaults, flying buttresses, stained glass windows. These features allowed cathedrals to become taller and brighter. Let's look at some vocabulary for this chapter. The first word is a pinnacle, which is a tall pointed decoration placed on top of piers, flying buttresses, or cathedral fronts. The second word is flying buttresses, which is strong stone supports on the outside of a church that help hold up the heavy roof and walls. The third word is vaulting web. This is the stone sections that fill the spaces between the ribs of a groin vault. And the fourth word is diagonal rib. The rib, which is the ribs that cross in an X shape inside a groin vault. Okay, so let's look at some more vocabulary. So we have the transverse rib, which is a rib that crosses the nave or aisle at a right angle or 90 degrees. We also have springing, which is the lowest stone of an arch where the church or rib begins to rise. Then we have clerestory, which is the upper level of windows in a church, which is below the vault, and is often filled with stained glass and supported by tracery. And lastly, we have oculus, a small round window. Let's look at these last few vocabulary words. So the first one we have is lancet, which is a tall, narrow window with a pointed arc at the top. Then we have a triforium, which is the middle level of the church wall, made of small arches, sometimes decorated with stained glass. Then we have the nave arcade, which is a row of arches supported by piers that separates the main nave from the side aisles. And lastly, we have the compound pier or cluster pier, which is a large pier made of several attached shafts that help support the vaults above. Let's look at figure 16.16. The interior emphasizes verticality and light. This design symbolically represents the soul rising towards heaven. Let's look at figures 16.17a and 16.17b. Chartres is one of the best preserved Gothic cathedrals. Its stained glass windows illustrate biblical stories. Because many medieval people could not read, these images served as visual teaching tools. How might architecture influence the emotional experience of worship? Unlike earlier medieval sculpture, Gothic figures became more naturalistic. Let's look at figure 16.20. These sculptures show figures interacting with each other more naturally. The drapery and body posture show renewed interest in realism. Islam developed in the 7th century through the teachings of Muhammad. Islamic art often avoids depicting human figures in religious settings. Instead, artists focus on geometric patterns, calligraphy, and floral designs. Let's look at figure 16.21. This shrine in Jerusalem is one of the earliest major Islamic monuments. The building's golden dome makes it one of the most recognizable landmarks in the Middle East. Let's look at figure 16.24. The moss forest of arches creates a striking visual rhythm. The alternating red and white arches become a defining feature of Islamic architecture. Let's look at figure 16.25. This image shows a beautifully decorated mihrab, which is a prayer niche found in a mosque. This mihrab is covered in blue and turquoise tiles with detailed geometric patterns and Arabic calligraphy. The pointed arch shape is surrounded by intricate designs that show the importance of decoration in Islamic art. Islamic artists often use patterns, symmetry, and calligraphy instead of human figures in religious spaces. This created a sense of beauty, order, and spirituality. The rich colors and detailed craftsmanship make this mirror both a functional part of worship and a work of art. During the Abbasid Caliphate, Islamic scholars made major contributions to mathematics, astronomy, medicine, and philosophy. Art and architecture flourished alongside these intellectual achievements. Let's look at figure 16.26. This mosque was built during the Abbasid period in the 9th century. A minaret is a tower attached to a mosque where the call to prayer is traditionally announced. This minaret is unique because of its large spiral shape, which wraps upward like a ramp on the outside. The simple brick design reflects Islamic architecture's focus on strong structure and function while still creating an impressive visual impact. Its height and unusual form made it both a landmark and a symbol of power of the Abbasid Empire. Let's look at figure 16.29. The Alhambra Palace in Spain demonstrates the beauty of Islamic decorative design. Intricate patterns cover nearly every surface. Hinduism is one of the world's oldest religions. Its art reflects the worships of multiple deities including Vishnu, Shiva, and Brahma. Let's look at figure 16.30. This sculpture shows the deity Shiva performing the cosmic dance. The dance symbolizes creation, destruction, and renewal. Let's look at figure 16.31. Hindu temples are covered with sculptures of gods, mythical figures, and human forms. The architecture itself represents the cosmic universe. Let's look at figure 16.33. Angkor Wat in Cambodia is one of the largest religious monuments ever built. The complex reflects Hindu cosmology, representing Mount Meru, the sacred center of the universe. Why might religious architecture be built on such a massive scale?